Welcome to this week's edition of Inter-University Debate. Inter-University Debate airs every Thursday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Civic Space TV on YouTube. I'm your moderator. My name is Lake Jendafansi. I'm an advocate, a lecturer, and a tax consultant. At the Inter-University Debate, we are at the level of quarterfinals. So the universities that qualified for quarterfinals are now having their internal debates as they prepare for the quarterfinal stage of the inter-university debate. I would like to introduce to you the university that we are having today, and that is Busitema University. First of all, I would like to congratulate Busitema University upon making it to the quarterfinal stage. Other universities that, besides Busitema, also made it to the quarterfinals include Makerere University, Kabale University, Islamic University in Uganda, Uganda Pentecostal University, Makerere University Business School, Kampala International University, Mbarara University of Science and Technology, Nkumba University, Uganda Christian University, Cavendish University, and Uganda Matters University in Nkozi. So these universities are holding their internal debates at this stage, and afterwards they will meet during the inter-university debate. So our topic for today with Busitema University is going to be, have Ugandans attained gender equality? What are the opportunities and challenges for gender equality in Uganda? So our panelists from Busitema University are going to help us unpack that topic today. Let me introduce the panelists for today to you. Our first panelist for today is the gentleman that represented Busitema University during the inter-university debate and made sure that his university qualified for the quarterfinals. And that is Mr. Ngabirano Titus. Titus, you're welcome to reintroduce yourself. You can tell us the course that you're doing, as well as any other responsibility at the university.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ngabirano Titus, a finalist, fourth-year student of Polymer, Textile and Industrial Engineering. I currently serve as the Minister of Justice, Gender and Constitutional Affairs, Busitema University. Busitema is multi-campus, 6 campuses, and our topic today is about gender equality, and probably here and there, me and panelist, moderator, and CCG will help me guide, so that probably, as I serve my roles as gender minister, I do not let people down. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much, Titus. As the gender minister, we are happy to have you to discuss this topic today. So our second panelist for today is Ms. Iramu Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you're welcome to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. As you've already mentioned, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a year 2 student at Busitema University, pursuing a bachelor's degree in water resources engineering. And I'm very glad to be on this panel today to discuss gender equality in this country. As we unpack and unveil the facts in this topic, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we are happy to have you. We will, at a later stage, be joined by a third panelist, and when he joins us, we will let him introduce himself. So without wasting time, let's go straight into the opening statements. I would like to give the panelists opportunity to give us their opening statements to today's debate in 3 minutes each. And I'll start right with Titus. Titus, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. What do we know about gender equality? We tend to have conflict of interpretation between gender equality and very many other aspects of gender, and cases like emancipation, cases like the law here and there. So I would like to define what gender equality is. Gender equality, as stated by the United Nations, is a way of giving both the men and women equal opportunities to represent themselves, be it economically, politically, socially, or in all aspects of life. Now, when it comes to the aspect of Uganda, one of the opportunities we have is that we have laws in place that give us the chance to have equal representation of women and men in all spheres of life. Take an example of the political law that specifies that at least a third of the parliament should be women. Now, that would not necessarily transition into gender equity, but in most cases, I feel it would transition us into gender equality. You're giving an equal opportunity to both men and women, and you also get to realize that in Uganda, there is nothing that specifies that women can't do this or men can't do that. But again, you get to realize that even with those various opportunities, three of the biggest challenges we face as a nation is the explicit structural failings, such as the ineffective enforcement of these laws in Uganda, makes it hard for us to deliver as a nation on the need to attain gender equality. I feel some of these issues lag us behind, and also get to realize that we have the cultural barriers in place that restrict women from attaining or probably men and women from attaining from us attaining gender equality. You'll find that we as Uganda have the fixed notion that women are meant for the kitchen. Some people are still having that notion, though it's so heartbreaking, but it happens, are still having that notion that we as Uganda, the women are meant for the kitchen and men are meant to go to work and all those things. We also have the social barriers that bar the Ugandan men and women from attaining gender equality because of the superiority complex. Now, very many people believe that men are the superior species over women, and women are not supposed to engage in affairs that govern the nation as far as women are concerned. So personally, as a panelist today, I feel that gender equality can be attained, but then the opportunities are there, as we have very many NGOs, non-government organizations, Ministry of Gender, Labor, and Ministry of Gender, headed by our Honorable Minister, is there, and is also there to bridge the gap here and there so we can achieve gender equality. But then there are also the challenges. At times we find that we are contradicting opportunities and challenges. Opportunities are there. Again, one of the biggest challenges we have is explicit structural failings with the ineffective law enforcement that we have as a nation. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Titus, for that very elaborate opening statement. We will go into that discussion at a later stage. Let me welcome Elizabeth to also give us her opening statement. Elizabeth, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. So we're going to discuss about gender equality today. And according to me, gender equality is a state in which access to rights and opportunities is unaffected by gender. So in actual sense, the men and women should be having the equal opportunities to access different things, like in the political sector, in the socio-economic sections. So these things should be available for both women and men without discrimination and without limitations. And according to the United Nations, no country in the world has yet achieved gender equality, and no country will be able to by 2030 because of the current growth rates in the world today. And I would therefore want to say that Uganda has not yet achieved gender equality. This is because the political seats, first of all, in the parliament, like 34.9 of the seats are held by women today. And we want to say that very few women come up for seats in the parliament, even the ones that are open to both men and women. This is because of the way society looks at the women, the ladies today. They feel ladies are inferior. They're always talking about empowerment. Ladies are put under the men, right from the religion, right from the cultures. Society is putting the women down. So in actual sense, we are trying to see, is there gender equality? And I would like to say, no, it is not there. But can it be achieved? Yes, it can. And this is through implementation, not just singing the song every day, gender equality, gender equality. We should be able to implement this. Let's come up as ladies and gentlemen, support this, and we shall be able to reach there. Thank you so much. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that quite as well elaborate introduction. And from the opening statements, I can tell that we are going to have a very, very fruitful discussion. Let me get back to Titus. So Titus, let us start from the beginning. In terms of gender equality as a country, where are we at right now when we look at history and our current status? Where are we?
Historically, historically, as an African nation, we were originally governed by the African Traditional Society settings, that is ATS. So we get to realize that even after the notion of independence, most men are those favored to be in the workplace. And historically, you get to realize that even during the regime, because then this is too historical, but then we get dates back to reflect on this. You get focused on staying at home and cooking. During the slave regimes, our women would be taken as slaves, and in most cases, the men would also be taken as slaves, but then women would do the part of getting married, the women would do mostly of the hard work. Now, fast forward to the colonial regime, you can realize that we were still in that very set of quagmire. But then towards the current generation we are in, we get to realize that very many things have changed. Policies have been put in place to favor the women, mostly the women, because they in most cases are considered the minority. Yes, they're a minority. When it comes to representation, by numbers, they outnumber the men. But then very many policies, frameworks have been put in place to get us on an equal laying scale. Get realized that when they introduced the third membership in parliament to get women equal representation, when they introduced the women MPs in parliament for each district, it wasn't a move, it was mostly a move to get women on the board, because back then, only men would contest for member of parliament posts. Even then, you get to realize that currently in Uganda, the current head of state, His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, has tried to include in the women to bridge in the gender gap, because currently our prime minister is female, our vice president is female, but still giving a certain section of gender high posts. But again, when you look at the entire status quo, probably the cabinet at large, you get to realize that that is not equally there. Now, when it comes to the aspect of education, we are at a stage whereby most men and women are attaining education at a very fast rate. And then you get to realize that the enrollment of students, be it male or female, is skyrocketing high. You get to realize that over the past 10 years, our education enrollment for the female gender has more than doubled. Whereas for men, we're having that slow, stagnant growth. I feel that now we have focused a lot of attention on women, that 5-10 years from now, we might have to again shift back, focusing to men. But the current status quo gives us an equality for both men and women, and gives us the opportunity to realize that gender equality is attained. If only if the notion of the culture beliefs we have, those are still holding us back so much. And also some of the religious beliefs that we Ugandans are generally Africans, are probably the religious affiliated people tend to believe in. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Okay, thank you, Titus, for that, which will truly get back to that topic on whether it's now time to turn and empower the men as well. So let me go to Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, when we look at gender equality in Uganda, what is the policy and legal framework that has been put in place by the government?
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. You're asking for the policies and the legal framework that has been put by the government. So in Article 63 of the Constitution, all citizens, regardless of their sex, have equal rights in all respects: the political, the economic, the cultural, the social, and in all family life. All these people have equal rights. Any discrimination against women and violation of women's dignity are strictly prohibited. Women and men are meant to receive equal rights and equal treatment in all sectors. So I think the government has tried it, but it's playing a good role. It's putting in place laws, articles. There are a lot of trainings that are going on to empower the women. Women have been given seats in parliament, 146 seats out of the 529 seats in parliament are just secured for women, and no man is allowed to turn up for those seats. And even then, the seats that are open, women are allowed to come up for them. So I think there is a lot the government is doing to try to empower women and to bring about woman emancipation, to bring about equality. But despite all that, you see that the turn-up is still low, because out of about 358 vacant, not vacant, but seats that permit women to come up for them, only 20 have been won by women. So there is that inferiority complex that women have, that they cannot challenge the men. But even then, when women try to come up for certain positions, you find out that they get low votes. Like, for example, I want to bring in these presidential candidates, the women that have turned up, none of them has even gotten above 1 point something %. So that is truly it demoralizes women. It shows like the country is not willing to have women in big positions. And apart from appointment, if it's through election, very few women really turn up for these positions, and emerge victorious. So I think the government is really trying. It's trying its best because a lot of trainings have been put in place. Women are encouraged. A lot of scholarships, a lot of job opportunities these days target women. 1.5 is given to girls in the education sector just to enable them to come up for certain positions. Most scholarships these days encourage women and want most of the women. In fact, if you're a woman, they would rather give you the position than it be given to the man, even when he is more capable. So we have a lot that is being put in place, and women have the base, they have the platform, they can easily rise. Just that there is that inferiority complex, I could call it. There is that I don't know how to bring it out, but I think we are saying that the ground is leveled. The ground is leveled, just that the people are not growing above it. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now, getting back to Titus. Titus, having listened to the legal framework that Alice brought in place and also others that are out there, would you say that the government of Uganda has done enough to promote gender equality?
I think enough is an overstatement, because for me, when you tell me you have put in place a legal framework to do something, it's like, take an example. You say you have sent a child to school, you're paying school fees, and you end there. It's like you're telling the child to go and sort themselves out, because you get to realize that if you tell this child to go to school, you have to also push that child to study, because at the earliest stages of that child's growth, they really do not know what they want, what is best for them, and what would work out for them best. So I believe it also comes, it's just an analogy that could also reflect on the aspect of the legal frameworks. Having legal frameworks is very beautiful, because I believe some of the people who write these legal frameworks down in Uganda really take their time. The problem comes in that when you're trying to make that idea grow, when you're trying to make that legal framework grow, the question is, are they being implemented enough? And I ideally feel that they're not really being implemented, because you cannot really tell me that after securing 150 seats plus for women and then leaving 300 plus for men, I know, to be open, you're again having this notion that there's that inferiority complex. Now, natural order in most cases dictates that the women are the inferior species. But when you zero it down, deep down, I feel that now the aspect of sensitization is something very, very key. We tend to underlook this issue, yet it's very, very crucial in growth and development and also shifting of the international at large, because you realize that for you to achieve something in life, or probably if you're trying to enforce something on people or a group of people, the best you can do is probably at least teach them, at least make them believe, make them learn. Now, you get to realize it's not the government now doing the sensitization. It is non-government organization, palestral bodies, and things that are not affiliated with the government that are doing the burden of sensitization. Then you zero down and wonder, someone hasn't designed a framework for something, but is the one teaching other people about that framework. Then you ask yourself the question of, is the government really doing enough? And I feel this is not doing something sustainable enough, because the moment you put a law in place, so that whereby you're trying to favor someone or here and they're probably giving someone an upper hand, are you sensitizing them enough to benefit from that opportunity? Take an example of the 1.5 educational bonus given to the ladies, which is kind of so unfair. But then take an example of the 1.5 bonus given to the ladies. Are you really trying to push the ladies deep down there, those underprivileged ladies, to at least be opportunity enough to achieve from the 1.5? And in most cases, you get to realize that it's not the case. You get to realize that such policies are very great policies. They've given us very, very competent people in offices here and there, but it is through personal effort. Is the government really doing enough to reach out to them? And I basically feel the government is not doing something sustainable enough to achieve the policies put out there. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Okay. Thank you, Titus. Let me move back to Elizabeth. So, Elizabeth, you earlier on said that the Uganda has not yet attained gender equality. I would like you to expound on that point.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. It is true that Uganda has not achieved gender equality. One, despite being given all the opportunities for women and there are still fewer women in these institutions that we're talking about. So Titus was talking about the 1.5 that is being given to the ladies. Thank you so much, Titus. But even being given the 1.5, there are very few ladies who enroll in post-secondary institutions. There are very few ladies who enroll for that. And this is because even after, now imagine we remove the 1.5, there will be much more fewer ladies in those institutions. So even when they're trying to empower the ladies, there is still a challenge. Ladies do not access these things. And secondly, there are a lot of pre-entry examinations that are enforced on the ladies. Before you enter into an institution, there are a lot of checkups that are subjected to the ladies. And these limit the ladies from accessing some of those opportunities. Some of them are pushed out, they're phased out, because if you're pregnant, you cannot come into school. As for the gent, you're just going to walk in the way you have been. They don't mind what you've been doing or what, but the lady, if you're pregnant, you cannot come in. If you have this, you cannot come in. So those things make ladies to pull back. And that is the inferiority that we're talking about in the community. The other thing is gender roles. Most people think domestic work, childcare, and what is for the ladies. So most ladies are limited. They cannot go to school because I have to take care of the children. I have to do this. So we cannot come up and say Uganda has achieved gender equality, yet these things are taking place in our very country. We cannot put them aside. Secondly, there is tradition. Our foreparents believe ladies, they see you, a lady going for an engineering course, and they're like, what's wrong? What's happening? Those things are for men. Those things. So we also have to educate the foreparents. Tradition, we have to come back on tradition and culture. There is also religious bias where women are supposed to be below the men. We're supposed to be subject to the men. We are viewed as sex objects. We're viewed as servants, slaves to the men. We are supposed to be doing what the men command us to do. So if the man says do not go to school, you're always going to be there at home and you're not going to be to school. There are also institutions that favor men over the ladies. So there is a lot in our country that is going on, and we cannot come up and say there is gender equality, because a lot of things, despite putting in the laws that women are above the men and what, there is already that inferiority. We are already subject. The way we have been brought up, there is that bias, that gender bias they have on women. They're looked as inferior. They're looked at as inferior people in the community. And I would love, therefore, to say that there is a lot of gender inequality in the country, and we have not yet achieved the equality that we want.
Okay, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that. So let me move back to Titus. Titus, earlier on you said that no government has not done enough to promote gender equality in this country. So I would like to get back to that point. Do you think when you look at the law and other factors, do you think the problem is with the law majorly, or it's other factors that is preventing Uganda from fully achieving gender equality?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. I believe the biggest issue is never the law. The biggest issue are other factors, because we tend to focus and point a lot of fingers to government for not doing enough when it comes to designing of laws. But the issue is always design a law, but then the question is, are you following up on the law? Then the other factors come into perspective of probably cultural bias, religious bias, as my fellow panelists said, and also implementation of these laws. Because as I stated earlier, writing a law is very beautiful and very, very appreciable. But the question is, are you following up on that law? Are you giving that law sufficient breast milk so that it can probably grow healthy? The question is no. In most cases, it's not happening. And the question is, are you probably looking at the other factors that could hinder your laws from being achievable, or probably that could hinder gender equality? Because I feel we're in a society where the government does enough. The government is putting up good policies. The government is telling us that women have to be allowed to do this, because currently in Uganda, no one is stopped from driving. That is a very beautiful law. When you go to our brothers and sisters in the Middle East, some countries do not allow women to drive cars. When you go to some places, still in the Middle East, you'll get to realize that due to religious bias, women are not allowed to do this and that. They're not allowed to probably move out to the covering all the stuff that is restricting that dress code. Now, gender equality comes in the aspect of, are we giving these people equal education opportunities? Yes. Actually, no, because the women are, in most cases, given that 1.5, which I believe is trying to encourage them to enroll. It's trying to encourage them to go for post-secondary education, which is very good. But the question is, even after the lady or probably someone being given that 1.5, then you'll zero down to the aspect of cultural bias or probably religious bias. As my panelists have said, a lady will enroll for an engineering course, and then the entire world will be like, or probably they begin pointing fingers. You realize that in the science classes we were in high school, the men outnumbered the ladies because of this perspective that women aren't supposed to do sciences. When you go to the arts class, people would always believe that a lady is supposed to do literature, women are supposed to do sciences, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to realize that men in the arts class are being pointed at fingers and being laughed at as being failures. So government does enough. Question is that we have these other factors: culture, family, religion, and also, as my co-panelists say, the inferiority complex between the ladies. The ladies deep down, since time immemorial, or natural order, although we tend to overrule it, but then there's that natural order that has always made the women be looked at as inferior species. But then we want gender equality. We want people to achieve the opportunities available in Uganda. The equal and free education for all, the UPE and USE, though not sustainable, but it is there, that can be achieved by all. The private education doesn't restrict here and there. But again, those are the other factors that you realize that some places probably people, most preferably people and places and religion, and whereby most Ugandans are so hinged to their religion to the extent that they would overrule their personal right and benefits in favor of their religion. You can realize that most Muslim ladies would sacrifice to do something, would sacrifice driving, if probably their religion ruled that out. If you forget to realize that probably even a Catholic, probably an Anglican, would fail to do something if the religion ruled that out. And again, also the culture that we are rubbing off slowly by slowly, though it defines us, but it's also restricting us very many ways in attaining the gender equality we so much desire. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Titus. Let me bring Elizabeth back into the discussion. So, Elizabeth, something that you hinted on earlier in your opening statement is the issue of women being handed in opportunities by government. For example, when we look at the seat for the woman MP position, you find that women choose to go for the woman MP position, and then there is also still an opportunity to go and compete with men for the main position. Why do you think that is the issue? Despite that position being created, women are still few in parliament. Why do you think that is the issue?
Thank you so much, Gender. So that is the issue because most women fear to compete with men. And that is the issue that we have to tackle. We should know that men and women are in the same level and in the same position. So a lot has to be done, especially on the side of the women, not only opening the opportunities for them, but trying to unveil, to bring out that potential in them that they're capable of coming up for those things. Just imagine out of the over 300 positions, only 20 women have won in those positions. Leave alone that. I think the male dominance also in the society, as I already said before, most women are subject to the men. So when the man comes up during the political atmosphere and tells the lady, we are voting for so and so, in this generation, these things are happening. Most of the ladies are going to vote for the supporters that the men want, not because they want those people, but because the men are dominant in the society and are going to impact to affect the decisions that the ladies are making. So most ladies fear to come up and oppose the men in these seats. Despite there was 75% of legal frameworks that are promoting, enforcing, and monitoring gender equality with a focus on mainly violence against women. Those are in place. The 75% of legal frameworks are in place as we are talking right now. But I think it's basically the inferiority complex and also the way the other gender, the male gender, looks at the ladies. Most ladies are subject to a lot of judgment. They are judged on the way they are dressed. They're judged on the way they speak. So the lady, before even coming up, is looking at all those things. How am I dressed? How am I looking? How am I going to appear in front of these people? As for the male gender, they are free to appear in any way that they want without being judged. So most of these things are pulling the ladies behind. Secondly, I want to bring an example of the recently concluded elections. Campaigns were virtual and most women, according to statistics, there are more men than women who are able to use ICTs today. So I think that is what mainly made most women to step back. they're unable to use these ICTs to campaign. So most of them were unable to come up with these virtual campaigns and you be sure that you're going to win an election. So most of these men were dominant and came up and won because they were able to use the ICTs. Secondly, most men are well paid compared to the ladies. Men are well paid. So in the society today, men earn more than the ladies. So they have enough money to facilitate the campaigns than that women have. So most of them step back because they know they do not have. Even the little they have to use it on their children, because taking care of children has been looked at as a gender role. It's the women who are going to be home, cook, what. So the little you have, why not spend it on buying those small things than use it on campaigns? So there's a lot of things that women are subject to. And also society looks, I think society is to blame most for this. Society is looking at women as inferior. Tradition, religion, as already earlier stated, those are the things that are making women draw back. And in the low-paying jobs, women are overrepresented. And in the high-paying jobs, men are overrepresented. And that is what is killing and eating up our society today. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Before I introduce our third panelist who has now joined us, let me ask you one more question, Elizabeth, that is related to what you just answered. So the issue of having a female president in the country, we have seen there are ladies who have tried. We had Maureen Chalia who tried the same. We had Honorable Betty Kamia who also tried. Do you think it's a gender issue?
Yes. I think it is a gender issue because out of those very many women who have come up for those posts, none has even gotten 2% of the votes in the country. Not even 2%. Most of them lag behind 0.4, 0.6, and that is extremely low. So if you're to look at the other ladies that have come up for those positions, and you as a lady, you also want to come up for those positions, you get that bias already. You're like, this one did not even get 1%. What about me? And these are like very famous ladies, very powerful ladies in the society today. And I think the male gender has a big role to play in this, a very big role to play in this, because I think the biggest percentage of the population in this country are the ladies. And the largest number of voters in the country are the ladies. But why aren't the ladies voting fellow ladies? Because they are looking at these ladies as inferior. They believe these ladies cannot give them what they deserve. But I'm happy today in most universities, we are getting to have female guild presidents, and that is really interesting and fascinating, and never know in the future we can have a female president. But that is if those percentages are going to shoot up in the near future. And I encourage ladies to keep coming up for those positions, and maybe we can have better percentages and maybe a female representation in the country very soon.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Titus, let me get back to Titus before I bring in Paul. So Titus, do you also think that not having a female president in Uganda has been because of gender?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. I feel if we zero down the issue I feel at times we tend to focus issues on something less significant. We have never had a female president. Because take an example of a case study of the USA. Now, the USA had Hillary Clinton be the first female to contest for president and won on the popular vote, but lost on the electoral college vote. So we do not have to use gender as an excuse as to why we don't have a president. No. I feel politics, as we normally call it, is a dirty game. The way you play your cards will determine whether you will win or lose the election. We don't have to, again, blame such a scenario to issues of, I hear gender, gender equality or inequality or anything. No. It is the question of, are you really prepared to win the election? And the good thing that my panelists have said, the issue of female girl presidents. Currently, Makere has a female girl president. It's not because the gender has been stepped up. Yes, they stepped up gender. Now we have certain level of equality in universities here and there. But then it's because she played her cards right and won the election. Two, when my co-panelists said that we do not have equal payments, it breaks my heart. If, let me say, you're academic register of Busitema University and you're male, and you step down and a female takes over, they'll not reduce her cut because she's female. No. If you're in the same role, currently in Uganda, policy states that are entitled to the same pay. What brings the contrast in payments in some environments is the aspect of probably paternal and maternity leave, whereby an employer would want to recoup probably, or private institutes would want to recoup some of that invested money, and the time whereby a parent or mom is on paternity and maternity leave. So if you're in the same role currently in Uganda, policy says that you have to be getting equal payment for the same role done. So I think I beg to differ from my co-panelist on that. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Okay, thank you, Titus, for that. Elizabeth, don't worry, you can do a comeback. So let us welcome our third panelist, and that is Sempembwa Paul. Paul, you're welcome to the panel. Kindly introduce yourself and give us your opening statement for today's debate.
Okay, Madam Moderator, Fancy. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I thank the Lord that I made it today amidst of all challenges. Well, yes, I'm Sempembwa Paul, and I'm a student at Busitema University. I do Bachelor's of Science in Computer Engineering, and when I saw this topic, I was so eager and so happy to discuss about it because personally, I love to see women in a better position, because as a boy child, I've been so hard, so I feel like if even other ladies are put in a better position, they will do something better for this country and all that. Yes, and I'm so grateful to contribute more to the discussion. Back to you, Moderator.
Thank you, Paul, and we are happy to have you on the panel. And let me go straight to Paul. You could kindly mute first.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, Paul, my question to you today is that, according to you, do you think Uganda has attained gender equality?
Well, not yet. Not yet. Uganda has tried to do okay. One thing, the problem about our country is a lot of policies are brought up, but the implementation is slow. Yes, a lot has been done to really achieve gender equality, but I will say that they have tried, but not yet to the good. I think to the desired point. I will try to show how it has been just tried to be achieved. We have seen that some girls now are joining the courses like engineering, and you have seen that more of the girls have been taken to school, but still we see that there is something still lacking, and the gender-based violences are still too much. You see so many families are splitting up, ladies are being beaten up, rapings are still continuing. So to my knowledge, I think that a lot is needed to be done still. Yes, we have tried, and the country still is somewhere now, but we have not yet achieved that of attaining gender equality. Yes, we are on the road to attaining, but we have not yet. Yes, that is my submission. Thank you.
Okay, Paul, thank you so much for that submission. Let me move to Elizabeth. So, Elizabeth, having looked at the issues of whether Uganda has attained gender equality, and your answer has been no. Now, my question to you is, where Uganda is right now, what are the aspects that you sit down and say Uganda has achieved gender equality, maybe in this specific aspect? What are our achievements ever since we started fighting for gender equality?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I would like to submit that Uganda has made significant progress in the advancement of gender equality and empowerment of women, especially in the politics, economic, and social spheres. As I already earlier stated, Uganda, the country, we are seeing the country is really trying. It's fighting so hard to see that gender equality is being achieved in the country. We are seeing that the ladies are allowed now to access most of the things. Our vice president, as I'm speaking right now, Jessica Alupo Honorable, is a female. The prime minister is a female. We see the cabinet is full of so many women. We have more than 100, about 152 women in the parliament today. 34.9% of the ladies in parliament today are female. And that is so interesting and so fascinating. That is quite a good representation of the women in the parliament. And we have 32 cabinet ministers and 50 ministers of state from 2021 to 2026. And out of which we have females being represented in these. And this is a very good achievement in the country. We also have schools. Women are allowed to access institutions these days, even when they are pregnant, most of which would be excluded, I think, save for the secondary institutions, especially those that are private. But most ladies, especially after this COVID, after the impact COVID had on the nation, I think most ladies, even when they are expecting, they're allowed to access school. Most ladies are accessing most of these scholarships. Like, we see that ladies are being given an upper hand, though even with these in place, most ladies are not turning up for the positions, and that is what should worry the country. Why is this happening? And I think that is what the government should focus on. Yes, the opportunities are available, but why are they not being utilized? The resources are being underutilized, and this is what is eating up the country. Otherwise, I think the country has tried, especially in the economic sector. We see women now are encouraged to come up. We see female engineers. We see women are driving. We see women are actually having good jobs. Women are lecturers. Women are builders. Women are drivers. Women ride bodabodas. Those things that society deemed unnecessary, and the stereotyping and the gender bias that they have on the women. All these things are being erased, and our country is being corrected slowly by slowly. I think there is significant progress, and we should not say that the country is not trying so hard. Yes. They are really trying. I think we just have a gap on the implementation bit and encouraging of the women to come up for these positions, trying to bring out, to harness the potential in the women, to prove to them that they're strong enough. Yes, they are able to, and this is going to help us, I think, in the near future. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Let me move to Titus. Titus, there is something that you hinted on in your opening statement, and that is on empowering men. So I would like you to expound on that, on your statement that it's now time they also turn, they have to turn the gears and also start empowering men. So it's time for you to expound on it.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. When I talked about men empowerment, we realize that currently, world over, not only Uganda, but even world over, we have the issue of women are given an opportunity, they're given an extra block to step on to get somewhere. You realize that now men are given an extra block to step on to be somewhere. Then you ask yourself a question of, till when? When shall we have the opportunity whereby a man is given an extra block to step on instead of also them having to fight their way up the ladder? Yes, we want equality, we want gender equality, but I feel we are now focusing a lot on women and making the men lag behind a lot. Because if a man does not fight up the ladder himself, you get to realize that that opportunity will not be favorable, or the opportunity given to them. The opportunities given to men are similar to the opportunities given to women, but the society perspective that a woman needs an extra stepping stone here and there to achieve something equal to a man beats my understanding that I feel 10, 20 years from now, it's the gears and begin focusing on man empowerment, because there will be a higher level of the women empowerment will have reached optimum, and you now have to make sure that also men have to be given a block to step on to be where women will be then, which I feel if probably policies are put in place and then well followed up, given breathing space, encourage women to be more, or men, irrespective of gender, to be more enthusiastic about everything, then you'll get the aspect of everything is equal. Now, when co-panelists talked about the issue of our cabinet and stuff like that, then you wonder that women have 36 cabinet posts out of the 80 available. That is almost 50% of the available cabinet positions. But you are in a nation whereby when you're allocating these cabinet positions, you're being driven by tribalistic issues and stuff like that. Now, some of these posts I feel are ceremonial, definitely, because the vice president's post right now is given to a lady, Jessica Lupo, but is she really in that office of effect, or she's really as a placeholder? So gender equality is achievable, but again, the issue of us giving an extra stepping stone to a woman to achieve what a man can is really, really not necessary. Because 10, 20 years from now, we shall be now giving that extra stepping stone to a man to empower them to be where ladies are. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much, Titus. Let me move to Paul. So Paul, comparing Uganda to other countries in terms of gender equality, how do we fare?
The moderator, comparing to other countries, I'll still, I think, compare to countries like America, yes, because it has been open. And I think still that gender equality has not been attained, because when we go back to our homes, still the belief is still there that it is the lady to do the housework, to take care of the lady, the children, and all the things at home, which is not like to countries like America. We see that either man can do that or the lady can do that. And when you go to the schools, still the belief is still there, even in the teachers and the students themselves, that you find that they take some subjects to be for boys and others for girls, which I think needs to be more worked upon. That notion has to be erased, and these girls and boys have to be told that they all have the same ability, same capability, and such that they do the same things. We see that the workplaces here in Uganda, they're not favorable for. There's some workplaces that are not favorable for the ladies and favorable for women. Let me say the construction sites. There are sites where even the lady herself will go there and you see, she cannot work there. Even herself, she feels like she cannot work there. But you go to countries, I would still say like America, that they set up their construction site very well. The protective gears are there. They set up the site very well. Even a lady can work there very well without any fear, very confident. So still, I see that as Uganda, we still have a very long way to go. We still have a very big work to do, such that we attain this so-called gender equality. Because what we are still doing is gender equity, by the way. We are still uplifting ladies, and the problem is that they're lifting a few. Those that try to show that they can, they lift them up. But you go to rural areas like in the east, you will find that there are very many uneducated girls there. There are very many girls that were living in miserable lives, and they need really to be given support. And there is no way you tell me that gender equality has been attained in Uganda when you are still having a very big number of women in such areas who cannot even come out to, who don't have the confidence to, take up jobs that are being done by men. You see that? So the superiority complex between men, among men, and even the women have upon the men is still there. So I think the government has a lot to do to sensitize the society, to do a lot. And I still say, comparing to other countries like America, we are still so far. We are still so far. We are still, we still have a lot to do. Yeah, thank you. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Paul. let me move to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, when we look at the fight that has so far been put by government, earlier on you said the government is trying. So my question to you is, do you think the women themselves are also dragging behind the fight for gender equality?
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Yes, the women are the ones dragging the gender equality. Like I had earlier said, even with the so many opportunities for women, the gender equality is still stagnated because women are not ready, they're not willing to move up to these positions. Take a look at the 1.5 available for women in institutions, after A-level education. That 1.5 is given to women. But come and check how many ladies enroll for the science courses. Let me look at the science courses because I'm very sure there's so many who enroll for the arts courses. And that is because society believes arts are for women. But take a look at the science courses that are meant to be for men. Even after being given 1.5, I'm sure even in the recruitment, ladies have lower cutoff points compared to the men. But still, there is a large number of ladies there is a great number of ladies that still do not turn up for these courses. Reason one, it's because they fear to compete with men. Secondly, it's because society deems it to be exactly for men, like women cannot turn up for these positions. Take a look at the about 300 positions of the parliamentary seats that are left open for both men and women. How many turn up to compete with the men? A very, very, very small section of these women come up to compete with these men. And it's because, partially, I had already said, it's mainly because of inferiority complex, mainly because of the gender bias that men have. It's because of the male dominance that men have over the ladies. It's because of the way the inferiority complex within the ladies. I think the target of the government should be the inferiority complex, to do away with that inferiority complex that ladies have. I think ladies should come up and stand up for themselves and be able to come up for these positions, because yes, the ground is level. It's just the ladies that are not growing above it. It is the men that are coming up and rising way beyond this. And I think it's also because of the I had already said, the illiteracy rate. I think women are more illiterate than the men, because as tradition states it, that women are supposed to stay home, women are supposed to cook. Yes, they had said it's true that women are coming up for these positions, but it is a great section of the women in the urban areas. I'm talking about the woman in the rural area. That woman cannot access education. That woman during her menstrual periods cannot go to school because the pads are unaffordable. That woman, there is a lot that has to be done for women. And I think it's partially because of the inferiority complex, and also because of the opportunities to a lower extent, because some of these women cannot afford certain things. Still, as we talk, 80%, women still only make about 80% of what men earn in full time. So this 80% is quite low. So men have higher chances to go for these opportunities that women cannot access. They're limited by the roles they serve, by the nature, just the nature that women are, the nature that we are subjected to, like monthly periods, menstruation periods. So there's a lot of things that limit women that men don't undergo. And I support the notion that women have to have an upper hand, though even with the upper hand, they still are not coming up for these positions. And that is the thing that should be targeted. And even when they come up for this position, men look at them as inferior, maybe because we are paying bride price for these ladies, I do not know. So maybe we look at them as slaves and servants to the men. Maybe we should also remove the bride price, and maybe, I do not know gender. Back to you.
Okay, Elizabeth, maybe that's a discussion we can have at the end of this debate. So let me move to Titus. So Titus, let us look at the solution part of our discussion for today. So what policies and laws do you think the government should put in place so that we are able to fully achieve gender equality in this country?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Personally, the policies already in place are very, very good, because if you look at, though I personally don't support the policies, some of them, but then I believe these policies can help us attain gender equality. Take an example of the 1.5. Now, when we incorporate the 1.5, we're encouraging women to step up. They are encouraging women to probably come up and also attain education opportunities. But again, the question is, as I said, the one policy that governs all policies is a policy of sensitization. However beautiful, however great you work of state of frame your policy, if you do not sensitize your public or the people intended to receive this policy about it, you're basically wasting time. Because you cannot tell me you have put in this policy of probably the parish development model, and then you're encouraging women to probably apply for them, or probably men to apply for them. But again, you're not giving these people adequate sensitization about these entire things. Then you'll be beating yourself, you'll be stabbing yourself in the back. So currently in Uganda, education policies we have around gender equality is as equal opportunities for all. But then the question comes into perspective is the public aware? Are the men and women aware of what they can achieve? Sensitization is top of it all. Two, the policy of equal payment for the same job done. Now, currently, that policy is not well stipulated, but then we have to have a policy in place whereby if I am the MD of a company and you're also the MD, I think we're entitled to the same pay. Now, if the government can put that in place and well structured in writing that if we are both working for Coca-Cola or anything, or probably working for CCG, and we are all moderators or something like that, and we are all male and female, and one is male and is female, we should be entitled to the same pay. So that we remove this equivalency that women this, men that, and even then, for women who have these complications that come with their menstrual cycle, they should be given that probably 3-day holiday, so they could probably also have that natural occurrence. Now, men have the advantage of not having these natural discomforts, because honestly speaking, those 3, 4, 5 days that some women go through are like hell for them, and they need a policy to protect them during that period. So we have gender equality now. Gender equality in most cases is also at times I feel misunderstood even by me myself, because I'm no Bible verse or anything that I'm all perfect. But then I believe that we should at times try to support our ladies in some scenarios so we could also have them on the same level playing field as the men. So some policies, but then the mother of all policies is sensitization, and two, the equal payment policy, and also trying to incorporate in that allowance for natural disaster. Because if we have an entire ministry for natural disaster preparedness and an entire ministry, prime minister affiliated to that, then I think we as a government of Uganda can try to incorporate in a way of favoring our ladies during their natural current systems. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Titus, so much for that. Let me move to Paul. So Paul, additional to what Titus has said, and feel free to contrast him, what other policies and laws do you think the government should put in place so that we can fully attain gender equality as a country?
Thank you. Supplementing to what he has said, I really think like that sensitization is the very big thing that need to be done in this matter. For example, we see that ladies themselves are the ones that have lagged this matter of gender equality. So if the ladies are sensitized very well, the older ones, the girls, even the ones from nursery, and they are to be told that they have equal opportunities with the boys, with the men, to be told that they have no difference with the opposite gender, to be told that what the other can do, you can also do. I think it can help so much. See this? Yes, it has been tried, but you see, it has not really been done to the extreme. I think if we really do that very well, we will see a lot of girls coming up as great scientists. We shall see them coming up as great sportsmen. We need to include them in each and everything. And this should start from everyone in the community, from the parents themselves, the mother, the father. When they are still at home, that's where it should start from. Then coming to school, you will find that this stigmatization start from the class. The teacher saying, boys and all that. So if that starts, even the general society is sensitized to that this should be a role for everyone, I think gender can be achieved. And another way is also to the boys, if you tell the boys, their sisters very well as their, their equal notion of thinking. All right, the point of sensitization, I think, should be done very well to the entire community. The male gender should be also emphasized to treat these ladies as their sisters, as their mothers, should be treated very well, such that they should feel, to erase the other feeling of, segregation. And then another point I want to bring is the law. I think the government should emphasize the law of those that try to mistreat the ladies, the sexual harassment, I think should be so much strengthened and afford up those be really try to do. I think yes, that is it. And just other additions of upper hand, like providing the salaries, as Titus said. I think they are good in education, giving them the additional points. I think they'll put them somewhere. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Moving to Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, additional to what Paul suggested and what Titus suggested, and feel free to contrast them. What other policies and laws do you think should be put in place by the government of Uganda so that we can fully achieve gender equality as a country?
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. I think the government should teach gender equality in schools, and should teach against gender inequality, gender bias, stereotyping. All those things should be taught against in schools, and gender equality should be promoted. Secondly, I believe power should be decentralized further, especially for the women. A lot of things should be, like when these trainings come up to empower women, they should not only end in the urban sections, but should also go deep down and target the most common human being deep down in the village. I think those are the people that need the service more, because I believe the women in the urban section have already been empowered. They know what they are supposed to have. They know the things that they're supposed to do, and what they are just not coming up for those positions at will. But I also want to believe there's some ladies in the village, there is that person who has not yet heard about these opportunities. So the government should target those people and sensitize them to come up for these positions. I also believe the government should come up with skill-based assessments in order to come up, like for jobs, maybe when they advertise, before they prioritize either the male or the female gender, they should be able to know, can this person deliver the service? Because I want to believe that with our papers, when we do them, if a male got a first class and a female got a first class as well, I want to believe the female's first class will be doubted. Reason being, they believe maybe she got it in a way that was not proper. Maybe she bribed, they believe women are inferior. So I believe these skill-based assessments will do a lot of help to us as a nation, because instead of prioritizing a certain category of people over the others, can the person do? I think the skill-based assessments will be of so much help. And then I think the government should also preach against gender roles. What a man can do, I believe a female too can do. So let's not believe that this section of work is entirely for ladies, this section of work is entirely for ladies. And then I also want to, the government can also try to free up the barriers that women have. There's so many barriers that are against women, like when they're enrolling in colleges, there are a lot of things that women are subjected to and men are not, a lot of checkups that are unnecessary. If a man can come as he is, let the ladies too go to school as they are. Why do you have to check them? I hear pregnancy tests and what. So there's a lot of things that the government should come in place. Then I also want to, Titus had talked of giving the ladies a 3-day holiday. I want to believe he said so. And I want to ask Titus, if the ladies are given a 3-day holidays in every month, do you think employers are going to come for these ladies? Don't you think it's going to do more harm than good? Because the business-oriented people are after money. So if you're giving the holiday to the women, no one is going to want to employ those women because they know every 3 days in a month, this person is not making money for me, especially the private firms. So I do not want to agree with that suggestion that he made, because we already have a lot of challenges as ladies. So bringing up that, and also bringing up such things, will make ladies feel more inferior. And I think that is also one of the challenges that we're facing as a country. We're making ladies feel much, much more inferior by bringing up so many things. Do this to the ladies, do to the ladies. The ladies are vulnerable. And indeed, the ladies, it just be a level ground. Let it be open. Let the ladies know they are strong enough to do certain things. Let them not be considered weak. And I believe we shall go far as a country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Let me move to Titus. So, Titus, how best can we, as a country, present these opportunities to the ladies? To the women, because as we see, Article 33 was brought in as affirmative action and to balance between women and men. That's when we look at it in terms of gender. And the opportunities out there, and the claim on the panel is that women are not taking up some of these opportunities. So how best can we make these opportunities more accessible to the women?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. First and foremost, I would like to contradict my co-panelist very fast there. When she said 3-day holiday, may feel I believe in flexibility. If you as a lady feel you have a menstrual cycle complication and that could restrain you from work, you could work out an agreement with the employer and probably tell them, I could probably work 3 days, probably 3 days, let me say Saturdays and Sundays, to compensate for the other 3 days I'll not be available because I'll be bedridden. Fast forward, ways you can achieve gender equality. One, some things we do currently as a country are not favorable to all genders. Take an example. If you have already offered 1.5 to a lady, where again do you lower cutoff points? I feel the 1.5 is very good, but again lowering cutoff points for the ladies in particular, so that you could have an enrollment, beats my understanding in some scenarios here and there. So what can we do to achieve gender equality? As I said, and as I always preach the Holy Gospel of sensitization, we need to sensitize the masses. We need to know, we need to let them appreciate one another and accept each other as being equals. 2, we need to preach the spirit of, we also need to make ladies understand that they're equal to men. We have to remove the notion of superiority complex, remove the entire perspective that one gender is superior to the other. 3, even when we are drafting policies for one gender, even when you're bringing up things like probably circles and stuff like that, trying to encourage ladies or men to join, we have come to realize that women have become better leaders when it comes to the aspect of managing such circles and probably leading them to greater heights. So when it comes to effective leadership, statistics say that women have done a better job. So can we probably encourage women to into such positions so to probably build the nation at large? But then the superiority complex that men have over women will make us step like 3 and like 7 backwards. So we need something, a woman can do it. Not the notion that if a man can do something, a woman can do better. No, we have to preach the gospel that yes, we want women to be uplifted. But again, you do not have to uplift them at the cost of men. If you are to introduce a policy, it is for uplifting, not for like enticing or making sure that we outroll out the men at the end of the day. So we're encouraging women to do something, but as we encourage women to do something, we're not encouraging women to do something at the expense or at the price of the men at large. So we shall encourage women to, through the policy of 1.5, affirmative action, equal representation, making sure that we encourage women to be here and not there, making sure that women believe that they can do something, instead of us necessarily saying that we are encouraging women to do something at the price of men. As I stated, that the 1.5 in education is so beautiful, but again, lowering the cutoff points of women at the cost of men, whereby you have, if for the same cost, probably government, you find that a woman has an additional 0.5, and again, her cutoff point is 43 as compared to a man's 46. So it basically doesn't add up. You be having a question of, she already has a 1.5, but again, you have to lower her cutoff point. So yes, we want to encourage, but again, we are not going to encourage at the cost of men, because you're now costing men something sustainable, also costing the other gender, which is considered superior to the cost of the one that they consider inferior. So can we build both genders, encourage one to be at the same level of the other, but not at the cost of the other? Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Titus, for that. Let me move to Paul. So, Paul, turning the gear and looking at women now, how best can the women contribute to gender equality in the country?
Well, thank you, Madam Moderator. Well, I think that is a very good question and to answer. But before I do answer it, Titus has said giving them 1.5. But I think it is showing that really boys are superior than ladies. I think it is also not good. Okay, them be provided with the 1.5, but not cutting, not lowering the cutoff points. It is still showing that boys are more superior, and which belief we want to remove. So back to your question of how ladies can help in promoting gender equality. I think.
Paul, before you move to answer, I would like clarity on your earlier, what you just responded to. Your network was a bit jumpy about the 1.5. If you could just repeat that submission.
I repeat. Okay, I was saying that. I think yes, it has been good to provide the 1.5 for the girls, but lowering the cutoff points to the cost of boys. I think it promotes the belief that boys are more superior or are superior than girls. So I think that one is not good. It is So I think lowering the cutoff point is not good. As we're providing additional opportunities to the girls, let us not overdo it to leave out boys or to really show girls that they are vulnerable. As Elizabeth said, let us not to try showing that girls are vulnerable, all ladies are vulnerable. Yes, we should try to convince them that they are strong, they can do it by themselves. Yes, now back. Yes, I think ladies themselves are the right to do this, are the right people to foster for gender equality. If we have programs to go out, let me say outreaches in villages to preach to these people, to the ladies that they should stand out. I think ladies should be used. Yes, I like it that Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has brought a lot of ladies in his government to really try to show other ladies that they can. It is a good move, and I think it is one way of promoting gender equality. And I think more ladies should be given platform. And I think as they're given a platform, they should be also told to yes, ladies are the right people to use in this program of fostering gender equality. And I said that it is a good move that His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has included more ladies in his cabinet. We see there are very many ladies the parliament. And I think these are the ladies that should be used to do this. Because you see that most of them, they have come for these seats, but they are only doing the roles in these seats. Yes, they are inspiring other ladies, but themselves should come out. They should be included in these programs. For example, Honorable Robert Nabandi should be included in programs of, although yes, she has a lot of work to do, but included in these programs of, helping out girls, informing girls and ladies that they can also stand for themselves. Recently, we had a sports gala at our university, though it was for ladies, for women, and I think it was a good activity, showing the ladies they can also be included in sports. And I would like, what the challenge I saw is that there are some organizers, people who are men included, but I think this should be totally for ladies. You see that the referees are ladies and everything, such that we show them that they can do something for themselves. So I think ladies should come out and they lead these programs. Yes, alongside men. Yes, men should not be also left out. They should also be sensitized, but the ladies should be at the core of this. And I think the fund, how it should be is that the funders or people to put in money in these programs, yes, should look at ladies. And just because we have seen yes the sensitization and all that, but as the government does the sensitization, ladies should be used. And I think more ladies need to be included in the civil servants, in the ministries, and all that. Because yes, because even when we look at the population, they outnumber us. And yes, I think that's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Let me move to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, additional to the points that Paul has given, and you can feel free to contrast him, what other role do you think the women can perform in promotion of gender equality in this country?
Yes, just like Paul said, the women are actually the ones to help empower the other women and to promote gender equality in the country. These women can ensure that girls have access to menstrual health facilities because they themselves know what ladies go through. So it is these women to come up and empower the ladies, tell them this, yeah, we undergo this, but this is how we overcome it in this period of the month. This is how we do it, and try to ensure that these ladies have these facilities in place. These ladies also have to come. These ladies that are in top positions are the ones that come up to the lower levels and talk to that child down there to end child marriages, to tell them the disadvantages of getting married at an early age, to talk to the parents because they are also parents, talk to them, tell them on a family basis, stereotyping as they're grooming their children, because there's a way they raise the boy child and the girl child, and the boy child thinking he's more superior than the girl child, and the girl child feeling she's more needy and deserves more rights, deserves more needs than the boy child. So it starts from the families, the grooming, and as the women are the mothers, so they're the ones to come up to groom these children, help them grow up into more important citizens, people who believe we are equal as human beings. And okay, even the women in power should fight, as they're holding those positions, they should not only be placeholders, but they should be very active citizens, so that when they're in those positions, other women out here emulate and be like, yes, if this woman can do this, then definitely we all can. They should be role models to the other women who are not in those positions and encourage them to come up for those positions. Sensitization has already been mentioned, and several other issues. Women should also be educated that they should not only be on the receiving end, but should also be frontliners. They should be able to achieve those needs and those desires, not only sitting back and waiting for the men to deliver them at their disposal, which is not a good move. And gender neutral language should also be preached. That language show that both the male and the female genders are on the same level, same platform, same base, and therefore what can be achieved by the other gender can be achieved by this gender without having to favor any other. And I think that is what should be.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Let me move to Titus. So Titus, in all this, what role can the youth play in promotion of gender equality?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. The youth should be the enforcers, not the oppressors. When I say enforcers, I believe the youth are supposed to be the beacon of hope. We get to realize that the generations, our forefathers, the generations before us, have been the stereotypes whereby they believe ladies have to be underlooked. To get to realize that some of our great or grand aunties or uncles, or probably our relatives, our fathers and mothers, most especially mothers, didn't go to schools because of stereotypes that men should school and women should stay at home. So the youth should be the beacons of hope. The youth should be the ones who do not spread the gospel of superiority and inferiority complex to the generations that will come after us. Too, the youth should be the enforcers or probably the implementers. When I say implementers, government should also find a way of incorporating in the youth who are passionate about gender equality, like probably university students, because that is a baby step. I feel university students could be the stepping stone to preach the gospel of gender equality to people out there. 3, the youth should also believe that what they can do, be it male or female, also the other gender could do. And also 4, there's a growing division amongst female youth, whereby the gospel, according to feminism, tries to make them want to step on the men. Now, I believe the youth can learn what best they can achieve from feminism, other than using it as an excuse not to do what they have to do. Now, very many youth have overshadowed their disability or inability to do activities, most especially the female, under the clouded judgment of policies like feminism or ununderstood well policies like feminism. 5, when it comes to empowerment, be it woman or man empowerment, the youth are people supposed to empower themselves and their peers, be it of the same gender, opposite gender, so that we can have gender equality achieved as a nation at the end of the day. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Titus, and thank you to the panelists. We have come to the end of our debate. I would like to give each panelist an opportunity to give us closing statements. And I'll start with Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. As we have come to the end of this very fruitful, very informative, and very great discussion, I would like to say thank you for hosting us, CCTV, Space TV. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to my other fellow panelists for turning up for this very elaborate discussion. Thank you so much. And as we come to the end of this, I would like to send this to every woman out there. Please know your self-worth. Let's know our self-worth. Let's know the opportunities that are available for us. Let's utilize them. Let's not let men step on us. And I also want to talk to those men out there who believe women are overpowering the men. I want to inform them that they were already a step ahead of us. So whatever is being given to us is just to reach where they are, not to go beyond them. So let them not feel envious or feel bad about this, because these ladies are going to be their wives tomorrow. These ladies are going to be their daughters tomorrow. These ladies are going to be their mentors tomorrow and great leaders of these countries. They're going to mother the nation and everything is going to be well. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator.
Yes, thank you, Madam Moderator. I'm so grateful for this wonderful opportunity that has been given to me by Space Civic TV. Yes, it has been so wonderful, and I'm so really grateful for this topic that we have really had, because it is a good topic that touches me where I live and all the things I go through. And what I want to advise my fellow youths is that we be implementers of these good policies that are to be brought up or have been being brought up to promote gender equality, and also to the people in power, to the ladies up there, to be part of the policy makers, because themselves know very well what ladies want, what ladies need. So if these policies are made by ladies, I think they will bring up the right policies. Yes, and I'm so grateful to also my co-panelists and to you, moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paul, too. Let me move to Titus.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Thank you. This is a very touching topic, gender equality. Very many of us understand it differently and interpret it differently, but I'm sure that the various ideas will probably pick a leap or two from this and transfer it into their respective spheres. And then two, policy implementers, this is the next generation. So listening to their ideas, you don't lose a tooth and you do not lose a step or anything. So I believe that ideas shared bit by us or fellow university students out there is very crucial for the development of the nation. A special thanks to our fellow panelists and also to our moderator, Madam Gender Lucky Fancy, and also to CCG for bringing us together to share these amazing ideas. And I would also request to those who haven't gotten on the YouTube channel to please reach out there and join the YouTube channel. Over to you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you. Thank you so much, panelists. I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you who participated in today's debate. Thank you to the panelists, the three from Busitema University. Today, we hosted Busitema University. We hosted Ngabirano Titus, Iramu, Alice Elizabeth, and Sempembwa Paul. Thank you to the three panelists from Busitema University. I would like to also extend my gratitude to Center for Constitutional Governance and Civic Space TV for organizing this very wonderful discussion in the universities. And our prayer is that it reaches the stakeholders and the different citizens, and everything that is suggested on the show is put into use. Our topic for today has been, have Ugandans attained gender equality? What are the opportunities and challenges for gender equality in Uganda? Thank you so much, audience, for watching. Feel free to give your comments and your suggestions and what you think about this topic and your inputs in the comment section. I've been your moderator for today. My name is Dake Gender Fancy, and from me and the team from CCG and Civic Space TV would like to say bye.